Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, we are going to attempt to answer a question that I've posed to people several times over the last few years. And it is a question of how is it that a reprint has a detrimental impact on the value of the original comic? Now, I've asked this question in response to people saying that reprints, like True Believers reprints, has a negative impact on the original comic. I've reached out to several people trying to understand their point of view, and I've honestly never received a satisfactory answer. So I decided to try to answer it myself. I wanted to know whether there was an impact, positive or negative. Technically negative is what we're looking for. And in order to do this, what I did was I identified 3 True Believers comics that were released in 2017, specifically in April, July, and August. I then looked 1 year after that release at the original comic to see if there was a negative impact on the value of those books. And in this video, we are going to look at what I found. I hope you enjoy. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of examples, and we are going to get things started off on a good foot with this book right here, X-Men issue number 1. This book was published, the original that is, in August of 1963. The reprint was released in April of 2017. I chose the 5.0 for this example. Let me make this a little bit larger so you guys can see it. I chose the 5.0. There are a healthy number of copies of this book on the census report. There's also a healthy number at this grade. There are 267 copies of the 5.0 out of a total of 4,306 universal copies. So roughly 6.2% of the copies are a 5.0. So I felt like this was a good grade to look at, healthy number of sales, some recent sales, et cetera, et cetera. So I've changed my filters here to look at books that were sold after April of 2017, but before April of 2018. So we have only about 8 total sales here, according to Go Collect, transpired during that 1 year time. But what you can see here is that in May, this book was selling for $4,100. It then climbed up to $4,800. It then dropped in August of 2017 to about $37, went up to $38. And then as we move into the later part of, the early part of 2018, the price starts to climb. $5,200 twice, $6,700, and then finishing in April of 2018 at around $6,000. And so you can see that primarily these books were sold on eBay. There was one sale on Heritage. There's a mixture of auctions and also fixed prices for this book, but you do not see a decline generally in the value of this book in the year following the release of the True Believers copy. And I don't know where this book is presently. I guess we can kind of see it here presently. As of January 2023, this 5.0 is selling for $16,800. So again, this may paint the picture that a reprint does not have a negative impact on the value of at least X-Men issue number 1 at the 5.0. We'd have to look at a lot more examples to see whether there is some impact that could be seen there, but at least with this one, we don't see anything. So I want to go ahead and look at another example, and we picked another, I think, really great book, one that is near and dear to my heart. This is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1. This is the first Spider-Man self-titled series, if you will. Fantastic book again, as I mentioned. This one, I picked the 3.5. I picked the 3.5 again because there are a healthy number of them out there. It is also maybe representative of the whole. 279 total copies that are out there, universal, out of 3,224, and that is about 8.7% of the overall total. So again, a little representative, and I've set my filters here for the 1 year after launch, and here we find 6 sales that transpired during this time, and you can see how this book has performed. It was around 4,000. in the late part of 2017. By the end of 2017, it had jumped up to 6,100. Continued couple of sales around 6,200 there. In 2018, this book was going for 7,200. We have a little bit of a drop to 7,000, and then finishing in around June of 2018 at around $6,800. So again, it doesn't appear that this is a detrimental fall off as a result of the True Believers book coming out. You can see the mixture of formats, whether they be auction or fixed price, as well as the mixture of outlets, that being primarily eBay and Comic Connect. This book over time has performed well. In January, this book sold for roughly $10,000. So again, I'm not quite sure if there was a detrimental impact to the True Believers that came out in July of 2017. But again, at least in the case of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1, 3.5, that does not seem to be the case. There is one additional example that I wanted to share with you guys, and this one is a Journey into Mystery book. Journey into Mystery, specifically issue number 83. This book was released in July of 1962, the first appearance of Thor and, of course, of Donald Blake. A fantastic book, one that I do not own, but I would like to at some point. The reprint of this book was done in August of 2017. Let me make this a little bit larger for you all. And with this book, I chose the 4.0. I chose the 4.0 for some of the reasons that I've cited before. There's a healthy number of them on the census report. Out of the total, there's 187 total universal 4.0s on the census, out of a total of 1720. So that is about 11% of the whole, and again, a representative amount. And with this one, when we set our filters for after August of 2017, but before August 2019, we found 6 sales here. And like the other books that we're looking at, there's a mixture of selling platforms, mixture of formats, but we do see an increase in the price of this book. The book in August was $4,000. It basically stayed at $4,000. It climbed a little bit up by the end of the year to $4,100. It finished the year at $4,700. And then in 2018, the book increased to $5,400, and then ultimately $6,000 is what the price was in June of 2018, the last sale, again, before the cutoff there, because there are not a lot of copies. Again, you don't have a ton of sales of these books, but we do have some data that we can look at. And the book over time has performed, I think, okay, not terrible. The book at present, as of November 2022, is sitting at $7,800. Looked like there was a high back here in 2021 of, wow. Wow, a high of $17,000 in October of 2021, and presently that same book is sitting at $7,800. That is a huge fall off. I should probably put this book in the snag these books now, because that is a massive fall off. But again, this paints the picture that potentially a True Believers reprint does not necessarily have a detrimental impact on the original comic like some have led us to believe, at least in the case of 3 books, that being X-Men issue number 1 at a 5.0, ASM 1 at a 3.5, and Journey into Mystery 83 at a 4.0. Maybe we should look at some additional books to see whether there is something there. But as of right now, I'm not really seeing it. So if you love reprints, sounds like you can pick them up. If you own the originals, it doesn't sound like this is going to be detrimental to your value of your book. At least that is my takeaway. Maybe it is yours as well, but I definitely want to encourage you to sound off in the comment section if you see something different. If you agree with what I'm talking about here, if you see something different, I definitely want to hear from you. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I definitely want to encourage you to check out the Guide to Smart Comic Collecting if you haven't already done so. This guide, put together by myself and Doug Bratton, is 88 pages of some fantastic content that will challenge your thinking when it comes to comic book collecting. And it does not matter whether you are new to the hobby or a seasoned veteran, this guide is for you. You can find it on RegieCollects.com.